Morning, everyone. So with the completion of Mishleh, I figured that we're now in time of Pesach, so we'll learn a little bit about Pesach from the Hagada R Ovadia Yosef, his explanation on the Haggadah, some nice, cute explanations, and some things maybe we could bring to our table. And we'll learn this through Pesach, and then we'll choose the next topic after Pesach. So we open the Seder with Halach Ma'anya, the Haggadah part. So Halach Ma'anya, this poor bread, and that piece is said in Aramaic. And the question is, why are we opening the Seder in Aramaic? Why are we speaking Aramaic? It's not Hebrew. So he brings a beautiful answer. The first answer he says is, the Gemara Masechet Shabbat says that when Rabbi Elazar would go and visit the sick, he would pray at their bedside in Aramaic. And the Gemara says, why? Why is he praying in Aramaic? The Malachim don't understand Aramaic. And generally, the Malachim take our tefillah to Hashem. So if they don't understand Aramaic, it's not going. Gemara answers, Hashem yisadenu al eres devai, pasuk in Tehillim, that Hashem is there with the sick person. And of course, Hashem b'chodo v'atzmo understands Aramaic. And therefore, you don't need the Malachim. Hashem is right there beside the sick person. So Rabbi Elazar said, I'm going to talk in Aramaic, in my natural tongue. That's the second answer. We'll see in a moment. So too, says Rabbi Ovadia Yosef, he brings from the Zohar HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu be'atzmo ba lishmoa sipur yetziah Mitzrayim mipi banav. Hashem comes to your Seder table every year to hear from his children the story of Yetziah Mitzrayim. That's what the Zohar says. And therefore, if Hashem is there, I could speak in Aramaic. I don't need the angels to be in between. I could speak in Aramaic. Unbelievable. Another explanation is that back then, that was the mother tongue. And if the whole night is about teaching our children, you want to speak to them in the language, of course, that they understand. And it's very customary in different circles to say the Haggadah in Spanish, to say the Haggadah in French, and Arabic, because it was all about understanding it. And that's, of course, the halakha that we have to make sure to understand. So we're reading it in Hebrew, pause to make sure that the people understand what we're reading throughout the night. Now the question is, at the end of that paragraph, we say L'shana haba b'nei chorin. We say in Hebrew, next year we should be free, etc. Shana haba, right? How do we end it? Shana haba L'shana haba b'Eretz Yisrael b'nei chorin. Right. So the end is free. We're saying we should be free, and we're saying that in Hebrew. So why are we saying that in Hebrew? I thought we just said the whole time is Aramaic. So here is an explanation that we say in Hebrew so that the angels understand, so that, because the last thing is we want to be in Israel, we want to be free, we want Mashiach, so we want the angels on our side to pray to Hashem, tell Hashem, okay, that's it. They've been in Galut for so long, so we need the angels on our side also, so we tell them in Hebrew so that they understand as well. Now, he brings down that there are some that don't say halach ma'anya, but they say ke halach ma'anya. Halach ma'anya means this poor bread. Some say ke halach ma'anya, like this poor bread. Meaning it wasn't this poor bread that they had, it was like this poor bread. But he says that's incorrect. You have to say halach ma'anya. And he gives a mashal as to what's the difference between the two. It sounds quite similar. So he says as follows. There's once a man, a poor man, and he would sell tchotchkes, pens, little sunglasses, little things. But he went to a city once, and all of his stuff got sold out. And then he brought some more stuff, it got sold out. And Baruch Hashem, slowly, he became a wealthy guy. And to remember his humble beginnings, every year, on that day where really things changed for his fortune, he would dress up like his old self with his poor clothing, etc. We have a stick over his shoulder with a bag. And in that bag, there would be very, very expensive gifts. And he would give his family very expensive gifts. He would dress like a poor person, but because he would want to remember his old ways, but he would give his family expensive gifts. One year, the way things happened, he was away on business, and his fortune went down. And he lost it all. And he became poor again. When he came home, he was literally dressed in his poor clothing, because that's what he was dressed in. And he came home, and his family said, hey, give us the gifts, whatever. He said, well, I'm poor. He said, what do you mean you're poor? This is how you dress all the time. He said, no, I dress all the time like this to remember my old self. But now I'm really poor again, unfortunately. So he says like this, that when we came out of Egypt, we were so in Egypt we were poor. We were the slaves. We came out of Egypt, and then we had the Bet HaMikdash. And when we had the Bet HaMikdash, we were on top of the world. And at the time of the Bet HaMikdash, we were rich. We were the best. And therefore we said, Ke halachmanya. At the time of the Bet HaMikdash, we said, Ke halachmanya. Like this bread. We're not poor now, we're great. So like this bread they had in Egypt. Then, unfortunately, we lost the Bet HaMikdash. So even though we might have a nice home, we might be a little comfortable, but we're not. We're in Galut, where we don't have the Bet HaMikdash. And therefore now we're that poor person again. And we have to say, halachmanya, this is the poor bread. This is not like the poor bread. This is the poor bread. We're still in Galut. We still have anti-Semitism. We still have all the difficulties. And therefore we're supposed to say, halachmanya. And just to end, he says that the words lachma anya is the numerical value, the gematria of 210, the exact amount of years that Bnei Israel were in Egypt. And we're commemorating that because that was the bread that not only, the matzahs, not only because they left Egypt quickly, the bread couldn't rise after they got matzah, but it was also halachmanya di achalu avatanu be'arad mitzrayim. They ate it in Egypt. It was the same food they ate in Egypt. And he says the famous thing from Rabbi Avraham ibn Ezra, that unfortunately it seems like he was in a certain jail in India, maybe in different travels. He says that he was in jail in India. And what did they feed him? They fed him matzah. And then Rabbi Avraham ibn Ezra understood why did they feed him matzah? Because it's hard on the stomach, and therefore you can last a long time with a little bit of food, a little bit of matzah. So that's what it says, that they gave them that in Egypt as well. And when they left Egypt, Hashem wanted them to remember that Hashem took them out, and so this is bread of the free, because we left Egypt quickly, but it was really to remind us of the past. So, Bezrat Hashem, we are going to be free, Bezrat Hashem, in a full way. Hopefully this year's Pesach in Yerushalayim. But we still always have to remember the difficulties that Hashem took us out of, just like we remember now Yetziat Mitzrayim. Gemara says we're always going to remember Yetziat Mitzrayim, but hopefully we're going to remember it one day soon. Ke halachmanya. In the meantime, we're still halachmanya. Bezrat Hashem, we should see that soon. See that day very soon. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen. V'amen. Rabbi Chanina ben Akasham Ritzak Kadosh Baruch Hu L'Zakot. Et Yisrael Lefichach Yibra Lehem Torah Moshe Shneimar. Adonai Chavetz Man Tzidko Yagdil Torah V'Yadir.